Peace to the planet. I go by the name of Charlemagne the God. My mama calls me Leonard McKelvey. See, I thought I just had a face for radio, and some good white people at Comedy Central gave me a new TV show called The God's Honest Truth. Won't God do it? And you know they couldn't contain my blessed, black, and highly favored ass to just 30 minutes once a week. Nope, I'm delivering extended sermons straight into your ears like a dollar store Q-tip. Plus, the check already cleared so I can say whatever the hell I want. Like crack-ass cracker. See? Listen to The God's Honest Truth on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
News outlets will cover stories differently, but the Black Information Network is fundamentally different. A 24/7 all-news network of writers, anchors, and producers with the goal of keeping you informed about what's happening in the Black community. BINnews.com, bringing you news you can trust. Download the iHeartRadio app now and listen to the Black Information Network anytime, anywhere.
Thanks for listening to the Best of the Odd Couple podcast. Be sure to catch us live every weekday from 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. Eastern, 4 to 7 Pacific on Fox Sports Radio. Find your local station for The Odd Couple at foxsportsradio.com or stream us live every day on the iHeartRadio app by searching FSR.
You're listening to the Best of the Odd Couple with Chris Broussard and Rob Parker.
All right, Rob.
That's right.
You clearly want to go off. Let's recap quickly, and then I'll give you the floor. 1917, Tom Brady and the Buccaneers do get the win over the Patriots in the return game. And you mentioned that it was boring. Here's what obviously it wasn't a great game, right?
Nobody's going to sit here and try to convince anybody of that, because that would be BS.
What it reminded me of, Rob, and I used to cover these games as I was the backup Knicks writer at the time.
Who was the Knicks head?
Selena Roberts.
Selena Roberts.
You remember Selena?
She
was tremendous. Yeah. She was great. And anyway, this reminds me of the late 90s Knicks Miami Heat rivalry. And we were those playoff series. Now, the game would be something like, so you covered those, so you know.
Because I was with Newsday at that time, Chris, so I remember all that.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if you had already gone to Detroit or not. Okay. Yeah. You know this, Rob. The final score would be something like 77-74.
Yep.
81-79, something. And the games, look, I love Ewing. I love Alonzo Mourning. I love Tim Hardaway, all that. It actually wasn't even much of Ewing at that point. But, Ewing was still in there. So it's Sprewell and all these guys.
Right.
But
Allen Houston.
Yeah. The games were not great games. Very low scoring, very physical. That era, particularly with those two teams, it was just beating each other up. And so it wasn't that aesthetically pleasing, and the games for the first 40 minutes weren't that great. But it always came down to the last 2 or 3 minutes, And because of that, because with 6 minutes to play, it was going to be a 2-point game, and you didn't know who was going to win, and every possession was going to count. It ended up being great because it was dramatic, and you're on the edge of your seat, and you're into it. That was what last night reminded me of, Rob. Wasn't well played for the first 40-whatever minutes, 50-something minutes, but because the end was in doubt, and you didn't know, there was suspense, there was drama, so that made it entertaining and interesting. But overall, it wasn't a well-played game.
No, and we get the rain, but both sides had the rain, and it wasn't the greatest conditions. But that's football, right? We've seen great. I've seen great.
That. I mean,
I've seen great game. Right, he played there for 20 years. Right. He knows New England. You could have a change of weather, especially early October in New England. Absolutely. But anyway, I'm with you. That's what it was. It was a bore for the most part. The score, of course, makes it feel better. And then, of course, like you said, the game was in the balance. But again, as I've been saying, and I'm the one who coined the phrase, because I remember After Tom Brady won his sixth Super Bowl, I was asked about, okay, are you on board or whatever, or was it the fifth one? Now, maybe it's the fifth one. After he won the fifth one. No, it was the fifth one. Against Atlanta, where Atlanta didn't kick the field goal, whatever, and they choked that game down.
That was 6.
That was it. It was 5.
Was that 5? That was 5.
Because 6 was against the Rams when he didn't throw a touchdown in that one.
Right.
That was 6. But anyway, Tom Brady is not the GOAT. And last night, he remains the LOAT, the luckiest of all time. Chris sat here on Thursday before I left and told me how Tom Brady was going to tear to shreds. Chris, do you remember the numbers you said?
Yep,
4 touchdowns, 400 yards. He was going to make Bill Belichick and make them pay and blah, 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 blah. And guess what? Tom Brady was average to below average. No touchdowns. He completed like 55% of his pass. It was just
I think it was lower than that, about 51.
51%. You're right. 51%. 51.2. He had 269 yards, no touchdowns, and a passer rating of 70.8. It was a clunker. A stinker, but yes, Tom Brady gets the win, and everybody goes, look at Tom Brady, led them down for the field goal and the winning game, winning drive.
That is
yes,
true.
But he got help, Chris, because the Patriots had a chance to win the game. And what happens? It hits the upright. That's Tom Brady.
It was a 56-yarder.
It don't matter. I just saw a 56-yarder in Detroit. Last week.
It's a different kicker.
All right? I just saw it. It's doable in this man's NFL.
He got a stronger leg.
But Tom Brady, again, is so lucky. So he walks away, and he wins the night because he won the game, and he stuck it to the Patriots, and they cheered him before game, and they gave him a video tribute, and they applauded when he passed Drew Brees. And so Tom Brady should have walked out of that Foxborough and Gillette Stadium with a big fat L in a game the Bucs have no business losing to that team. The Patriots aren't that good, Chris. They got a rookie quarterback, but their defense.
Who played well.
No, he did. But I'm just saying, going into that game, you didn't expect that. Didn't you expect them to win by 2 touchdowns?
Yes.
Okay. That's what I'm saying.
I think, Rob, and I'll give you this. You brought up that it ended in typical Tom Brady fashion with, to use your words, a lucky play that enabled Brady to win.
Yep.
I would say it did end in typical Tom Brady fashion, but I'd give you a different spin. It ended with him doing what he's known for, a game-winning drive to win it in the end. That's what he's known for. So it was apropos that in his return to New England, maybe his last game there for all we know, he goes in there and wins it like he did so many times with the game-winning drive and a field goal. You love giving Adam Vinatieri all the credit, and he deserves because it's a field goal.
I wish the Patriots would have had Adam Vinatieri last night.
Unless they get rid of the field goal, it's legitimate. And so Tom Brady did what Tom Brady does. Now, I'll give you this, Rob. I do think Mac Jones outplayed Brady. I think the rookie played better. But I will say this, too. Brady did have and potentially had some big moments. Like, he could have gotten close. He wouldn't have got 400. But he could have been close. I actually said between 350 and 450. He could have gotten close to 350. He had the 44-yard pass to Antonio Brown that was nullified, because of an offensive foul on an offensive lineman. And then, Robbie, and I think you will admit this, he threw 2 great balls at the end of the game in that last drive to Antonio Brown that AB should have caught either one of them. The one, he lost it in the air. Like, it was a nicely placed pass where only AB could have caught it, and he just seemed to lose it in the lights in the air, whatever. He didn't know where it was. So that was a great pass from Brady that AB mishandled. And then I don't know if it was the next play, but a minute later, he hits AB with a beautiful pass A.B. dove for it, had it, should have caught it. As an elite receiver, which he is, he should have came down with that ball, and the story would not have been the missed field goal at the end of the game that gave Brady the win. It would have been a wonderful pass. After a mediocre game at best, he delivers in the clutch.
But that didn't happen.
Obviously, it didn't happen. Here's where, and I'll even go this far, Rob. Not only did Mac Jones outplay Brady, but Bill Belichick coached a better game than Brady played.
There's no doubt about it. Bill, as usual, had his defense ready.
Yep.
And this is the big argument we had the other day. And I know we want to, you want to give Brady all the credit. Oh, yeah. I just think that there are some Super Bowls that were Bill Belichick Super Bowls where the defense was terrific. And they've stopped the Rams, the greatest show on turf. And they stopped Sean McVay's Rams that averaged 33 points, 32.9 points a game, and stuff like that where they got 3 points. So Belichick's had his moments where his defense has been stellar.
He's been a great coach. I've called Belichick the GOAT. I've never taken credit away from Belichick for his great defenses and those Super Bowls. He's got 6, 8 if you count him as a defensive coordinator in New York. But if you have to pick which player, which guy, if you're forced to pick was more responsible for those Super Bowls, or, the dynasty, let's just put it that way, the dynasty, there's no doubt in my mind I'm going Brady. Now, that doesn't nullify the greatness of Belichick, but Brady, I would say, without question, was more responsible because the turnaround began with him and ended with him, not to mention everything in between. But here's the one thing I question Belichick on, Rob, and I like your thoughts on this. At the end of the game, 4th and 3, 59 seconds left, 56-yard field goal. I think he should have gone for the first down because Mac Jones was moving the ball.
Okay.
The Buccaneers' defense, particularly the secondary, was a mess, and Richard Sherman just got picked on all night. I get his first game back right.
He ain't ready, right?
He ain't ready.
He ain't ready. Let's just be honest.
They exploited him, right? He ain't ready, and they exploited him.
And
so I think they could have gotten the first, right? And then you get a shorter field goal, and you don't leave time for Brady. Because I'll say this, Rob, and if you look at it objectively, not with your bias, but
I don't have bias.
If you have a bias against Brady, it's fine. It's fine. It's cool. I ain't got no problem with it, but it is. It's obvious. But had he made that field goal, Nick Folks, with 59 seconds left, I firmly believe Brady would have marched down and got a field goal. It ain't that hard to march down. You know that, to get in the field goal position.
No, we see it every other game in the NFL.
Thank you.
But I don't know why the defenses, they don't go after the quarterback. They play back. And a team, I don't care what team it is, they might not have been able to move the football all game, and then they get into the last 45 seconds, Chris, and they move the ball 60 yards.
Exactly.
I don't like all game you couldn't move the ball, and now you have no timeouts, 45 seconds, and boom, 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 you're down in field goal range.
Yep. You know why? Right. It's they go 2-minute.
Right.
The defense is a little softer. But yeah, so I just think I get it. If that kick is a foot, 6 inches to a foot to the right, we're having a whole different conversation. But in that rain, Rob, he hadn't kicked a 56-yard field goal since 2010 or, made one. So I just think it was I think he should have went for it because I think at the end of the day, even if he made it, Brady would have come back and got them in field goal position.
Be sure to catch live editions of The Odd Couple with Chris Broussard and Rob Parker. Weekdays at 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific on Fox Sports Radio and the iHeartRadio app.
Glovin, throw to Rizzo, and the Chicago Cubs win the World Series.
5 years ago, a 108-year curse was lifted. Grown men and women cried as the Chicago Cubs made a magical run to a World Series championship, avenging ancestors left and right.
I mean, it sounds like he's being dramatic, but seriously, that 1-month run was amazing. I'm a lifelong Cubs fan, and I cried. I held my son close, even though he's a White Sox fan.
That's Roy Wood Jr. of The Daily Show. I'm Matt Spiegel of 670's The Score. We too are the hosts of a brand new podcast series called The Run from Odyssey and Major League Baseball.
Yes, sir, and we are going to relive all the twists and turns of that postseason, what this win meant for the city of Chicago, what it meant for the Cubs, what it meant for anybody who just loves a great sports story.
Join us on The Run and remember what it felt like. Listen and follow on the Odyssey app, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Today on Newsmakers, we're talking with Catherine Schultz, Vice President, Tax and Fiscal Policy for the Business Roundtable. So, Catherine, there's a ton of noise in Washington right now about raising taxes on businesses. Why should our listeners care?
20 to 70% of the corporate tax burden is borne by workers through lower wages and reduced job opportunities, according to estimates by both government and academic economists. And shareholders, who include a majority of Americans, including seniors who have retirement accounts, pensions, or other investments, would see stock values decline due to lower future cash flows.
As we're starting to recover from the pandemic, would raising taxes on businesses impact America's economic trajectory?
While the economy has made tremendous progress since the depths of the pandemic, it remains on fragile ground, and everyone is not coming out of the pandemic equally. Congress should be helping to make it easier for business to invest in workers, innovation, and operations to strengthen the economy and keep America ahead of our Chinese and European competitors.
If hardworking taxpayers were to reach out to their congressman or senator, what would you want them to say?
No to tax increases. Elected officials should hear directly from their constituents that tax increases on job creators will move America backwards, resulting in less job opportunities for hard-working Americans, slower wage growth, and a less competitive economy.
You can learn even more at brt.org/tax2021. Catherine Schultz, Vice President, Tax and Fiscal Policy for the Business Roundtable. Thanks for talking with us. Paid for by Business Roundtable.
This episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Football is back, and the best bet you can make is downloading the FanDuel Sportsbook app. It doesn't matter if you're new to gambling or an old pro, FanDuel has something for everyone. And as an official sports betting partner of the NFL, you know your bets are safe. There's also never been a better time to use FanDuel, because right now, you'll get up to $1,000 back if your first bet doesn't win. You can even turn a small wager into a big payday with a same-game parlay bet. Just sign up with the promo code SPOTIFY to place your first bet risk-free on FanDuel Sportsbook. Download FanDuel today. 21 plus and present in Virginia. First online real money wager only. Refund issued as non-withdrawable site credit that expires in 14 days. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Let's go. Interesting situation, Rob, coming out of Baltimore. Now, they had a very good win. Look, Denver, you and I both, I think you agree with me. Denver, I never believed they were as good as their 3-0 record. Now, they're okay. I mean, maybe they'll find themselves in the wild card hunt. I don't expect them to make the playoffs, but they're an okay team. They're not bad, but they stepped up in competition, and they got it handed to them. All right, 23-7, the Ravens beat them up. And I guess from Vic Fangio, the head coach from the Denver perspective, Denver Broncos, he felt like John Harbaugh added insult to injury, Rob, when at the end of the game, so there's 10 seconds left. Now, Baltimore had just gotten an interception in the end zone, okay? So Denver's trying to score. They get an interception, and they get the football.
Game is over, Chris. Game is over.
Left. It's over. And the Ravens are 3 yards away from 100 yards. And they had gotten 100 yards 42 straight games as a team.
And 43 would tie the NFL record.
Yes,
they wouldn't
with the
break
Pittsburgh
it, they would
Steelers,
tie
my
it.
favorite team as a kid, Franco Harris, Rocky Blyer, all of them, Bradshaw, Swan, Sawworth, I could go on and on, Mean Joe Green, whoever. But that team had the record for most run games with 100 yards or more. And so they Harbaugh, instead of getting in the victory situation with the victory formation and taking a knee, he had Lamar Jackson run to the left, gain 5 yards, and then run out of bounds. So the record, they still are in play to break the record next weekend and get 44. And so Vic Fangio was not having it. Here's Fangio on his thoughts on that play.
I thought it was kind of bull, but I expected it from them. 37 years in pro ball, I've never seen anything like that. That's just their, mode of operation there. Player safety is secondary.
All right, let's hear what Harbaugh responded to him today, and here's what he said.
I thought we were on good terms. We had a nice chat before the game. Known each other for a long time, but I promise you, I'm not going to give that insult one second thought. What's meaningful to us might not be meaningful to them. Their concerns are definitely not our concern. If we got the ball back, we were going to try to get the yards. And we got it back with 3 seconds left. So you're throwing the ball in the end zone with 10 seconds left. I don't know that there's a 16-point touchdown that's going to be possible right there. So, that didn't have anything to do with winning the game.
Amen. Amen, John Harbaugh. A football game is 60 minutes. Don't get mad because we compete for 60 minutes. If you don't like it, then stop us. And Harbaugh made a terrific point. Vic Fangio was trying to score. He said it. Were you going to get 16 points for that touchdown pass with 10 seconds you threw? Just like Rob said, the game was over. You weren't winning, but you're still trying to score a touchdown. So don't get mad at us when we intercept you, and then instead of kneeling, we go for 5 yards. They didn't get in a victory formation. They didn't get set up like they were going to drop a knee and then, surprise, we're running. No. He set up in a regular formation. It was actually a shotgun. So you play defense. This is not CYO. It's not Pop Warner. It's not even high school. So I don't like it. I get ticked off. It irks me when professional athletes and coaches who are being paid complain about, they ran up the score. They shouldn't have done this. They shouldn't have done that. No, you stop them if you don't like it. You're paid to do it just like they are. And the record, it's not baseball. It's not a hallowed mark, but still, it means something. It is a testament. Years from now, people will look back and see. And Lamar Jackson gets too much criticism for supposedly not being able to throw the football, though he's throwing it for almost 270 yards a game this year. But this is a testament to him that this dude was the architect, the orchestrator of one of the best running attacks in the history of the sport. So I'm here for it, John Harbaugh. I'm glad you did it. Let's see if they break the record next week. And it's all good. This is professional football. It's big. Put your big boy pants on, Vic Fangio, because you went for the touchdown that was meaningless. So don't get mad at him for going for 5 yards that you say is meaningless.
John Harbaugh should be ashamed of himself and his bad karma. And, Chris, you have no idea what you're talking about.
Wow.
Of course, the Broncos aren't going to lay down and they're going to try, even if you can't score a 16-point touchdown. But with 10 seconds to go, there's no reason to try to break some meaningless record that doesn't even mean anything. And not one person, Chris, could have told you that 43 games in a row was the Pittsburgh Steelers going back. Nobody knew that.
It was in the
Nobody.
notes.
It's a meaningless record, and God forbid John Harbaugh's lucky. What if Lamar Jackson would have got a broken leg on that play?
Did he?
He would have been killed.
Did
he would have been vilified.
He didn't even get touched.
Why would you give a running quarterback? Chris, you sit here every game. I don't know how long he's going to last because, he keeps taking those hits. We don't know about a running quarterback. No, he didn't because he got lucky. It's a dumb play.
Stop it. You're talking fiction. I don't know what I'm talking about. You up here throwing out words like karma and fiction.
It's bad karma.
Stop it.
Because what you should do is kneel down. You didn't get it in regulation. I'm going to give you another example. There was a player, Chris, for the UConn women's basketball team. I can't remember her name. And she was like a few points short. You remember? But she had a broken leg or something or had an injury. She put on her uniform with a cast. She cherry-picked and stayed down on one end for them to throw him the ball so that she could score and break the record. And I swear to you, if I was a coach, I would have put 2 people on her and refused to let her score, because to come out there with an injury and cherry pick, not even to get the record in the real course of the game. If Baltimore got it
the other
during
one, Rob,
the course of the game,
straight-handed Favre.
Right.
Wasn't it straight-handed Favre
yeah,
with
but
the sack?
that was that when he fell down or whatever. He didn't
Favre let him get the sack.
Right.
But is Strahan in the record books?
No,
Yes.
but it was weak, though. That's not the memorable sack record you want. I'm just talking about what you would have felt good about a woman with a broken leg or whatever she had, Chris. Cherry picking.
They gave that a lot of love, Rob. They gave it a lot of love.
I would have blocked every shot.
Because you know she would have scored. First of all, she would have schooled you even with a broken leg.
No, she would have schooled me.
Look,
I dare her.
You don't feel bad about that, because you look at it like, obviously, if she hadn't broken her leg, she would have gotten the
that's
record.
a part of the game. You can't come out there with a soft cast on.
Competing for 60 minutes isn't part of the game?
No, not cherry picking. She's not playing.
You sound like a guy coaching 8-year-olds at the YMCA.
No, and you know what? Hey,
that's where it
John
matters.
Harbaugh
But with real
will remember
football
this.
Players,
this will come back to haunt him.
Stop
it's a
it
bad
with your
move.
karma
It's bad
talk.
karma, and you don't put your quarterback at risk.
Stop it with your spookism.
I'm telling you, it's ridiculous. John Harbaugh knows better. Talking about Vic shouldn't have tried to score a touchdown, and they're in the red zone. What are you talking about?
He didn't say he shouldn't have. He just said, you played the full game out. Don't get mad at us for playing the full game out.
No, everybody in the NFL kneels down when the game is out of reach.
Why
Chris,
didn't
and
Fangio? The game was out of reach. Why didn't Fangio
You don't do that
kneel?
when you're behind. You don't
Some
quit
teams do.
when you're behind. No, they don't.
Some teams do.
No, they don't. Not when you're behind.
I've seen it. Yes,
I've never
seen teams
it.
not even go for the touchdown.
No,
it's
I've
just
never
take a knee.
seen
It's
that.
over.
It's ridiculous.
I've seen
it. And John Harbaugh knows better. You would think that he's some coach who's never won anything. This guy's won a Super Bowl. This guy's been to 2 Super Bowls, and he's worried about 3 yards so that they can get to 100 in a game that's out of reach with 10 seconds left, and he's putting his quarterback in harm's way. I wish I was on the defense.
Touched, Rob.
Well, you're lucky he didn't get touched. I would have broke his leg if I had a chance.
Yeah,
I wish you would have come this way.
Yeah, you talking all that
nerve.
big and bad. Stop it.
My chest is stuck out. I'll be a linebacker. I'll break that leg.
Yeah, right. Lamar would have stiff-armed you and gone in for the touchdown. All right, 877-99 on 5.
Chris,
we
ain't
are
nobody
on
gonna be
opposite
with you.
ends of this.
Ain't nobody gonna be with you.
If you want to play in the Little Sisters of the Poor League, then go right ahead. I'm about big boy football.
With 10 seconds
with
to go in
John
a blowout?
Harbaugh. Yes, indeed. It's a 60-minute game. You get paid to play for 60 minutes, not 58 minutes and 50 seconds. 59 minutes and 50 seconds.
Can you get it right?
Feel like
What
I went to
school did you go
PS 116.
Yeah, whatever. Hey, you got my school right, though, bro. Got it.
Be sure to catch live editions of The Odd Couple with Chris Broussard and Rob Parker. Weekdays at 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific on Fox Sports Radio and the iHeartRadio app.
Hey, this is Jason McIntyre. Join me every weekday morning on my podcast, Straight Fire with Jason McIntyre. This isn't your typical sports pod pushing the same tired narratives down your throat every day. Straight Fire gives you honest opinions on all the biggest sports headlines, accurate stats to help you win big at the sportsbook, and all the best guests. Do yourself a favor and listen to Straight Fire with Jason McIntyre on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
News outlets will cover stories differently, but the Black Information Network is fundamentally different. A 24/7 all-news network of writers, anchors, and producers with the goal of keeping you informed about what's happening in the Black community. BINnews.com, bringing you news you can trust. Download the iHeartRadio app now and listen to the Black Information Network anytime, anywhere.
River Cafe Table 4 is a brand new podcast with me, Ruthie Rogers, the founder and chef of the River Cafe in London. River Cafe Table 4 takes us on a food journey around the world with friends like Paul McCartney.
John Lennon and I hitchhiked to Paris, and we thought, we've got to have a wine experience. We're in France. And we took a sip and thought, that is terrible. It's like vinegar.
So join us at River Cafe Table 4 to hear this brand new podcast all about their memories, their travels, and the food they turn to for comfort. Listen to River Cafe Table 4 on the iHeartRadio app, on Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
I want to get back to being in my community group.
I want to continue having a soccer season.
So I can throw parties again.
So I can go to her parties.
It'd really be nice to dine in instead of getting delivery for a change.
So I can feel safe and protected for myself and my students.
We each have our own reason for why we're getting vaccinated against COVID-19. What will yours be? Visit getvaccineanswers.org for information on the COVID-19 vaccines. It's up to you. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
That's right. He's the Hall of Famer. One of the best to ever do it in the defensive backfield. Fox Sports Radio NFL analyst, the great Rod Woodson. What up, brother?
What's up, my brothers from another mother?
We are good, man. Rod, and look, we're going to have you settle this.
Yes, we just had a spirited debate.
I had no problem whatsoever with what John Harbaugh did at the end of the game with Lamar Jackson getting his yards and them, right? And Rob's got that CYO, YMCA,
it's bad
pop
karma,
order
Rod.
mentality.
You can't do that.
Remember,
with 10
Rod,
seconds
you my light-skinned brother.
No,
and so where you at? Settle this score,
Rod. You know what's wrong with Harbaugh.
I'm gonna be on the fence on this one. If I was losing, like Denver was, I would want them to take a knee. If I was winning like Baltimore was, I'm like, man, get that record, man. Go ahead and get that record. It ain't gonna hurt nobody.
But wait a minute, Rod. Come on, that record means nothing. Nobody even knew who was holding the record, and it tied the record. And if let me ask you this, Rod.
It means a lot to John Harbaugh because remember this also. They won a lot. How many? 20 preseason games in a row?
Yeah, another one. He's trying to win that instead of trying to save his running back, trying to win preseason games. Now, let me ask you this, Rod. If Lamar got hurt on that play with 10 seconds to go instead of taking a victory formation, John Harbaugh would be getting killed. Am I right?
I mean, yes. But if it was a fifth, we all be drunk.
Yeah, well,
I mean, it's just,
you
can't live in retrospect, right? I mean, it's easy to be Monday morning quarterback like we're doing right now. But, I just think you play the game, and sometimes those records mean a lot to the players. And if it's going to mean that it motivates them for the following week to play even better, then as a head coach, you have to make that decision, even though it's going to tick some people off on the other side of the field.
Yeah, Ryan, mark that down. Rod agreed
I
with
can't
Chris.
believe,
right,
Rod,
that
a competitive guy like Rod, a Hall of Famer, on the defensive end would let them line up with 10 seconds to go to get some cheesy record that nobody
I wouldn't let him get it. I wouldn't let him get it.
There it is. You play for 60 minutes. The game is 60 minutes.
Lamar's leg. You hear me? If I was out there, I don't care. Throw a flag. Throw a flag.
All right, Rod. Let's go to the big game last night. Obviously, New England, Tampa Bay. I want to hit it at another angle than what people are talking. Richard Sherman. They were picking on him all night. Now he'll probably be a Hall of Famer. But I want you, as one of the best defensive backs ever, how difficult, no matter how good you are, at his age, having been away from the game, as long as he was. I mean, he played 5 games last year because of injury.
Right.
How difficult was – because they were treating him like he was a 6-round rookie, 6-round rookie draft pick.
That's what they should have done.
What did you did you understand that? I get it. I mean, it's difficult.
I would have picked on him too. I mean, think about it. Okay, you got an older cornerback, which he's played tremendous in his career. But he's going to be always, when you talk about him as an older player, he's always going to be compared to his younger self.
Right.
He's only practiced for a week. Dude, he was out there for, 3 days?
It's pretty much no way he could have been effective, huh?
Well, I thought he played well. I thought the one pass interference call was bogus. That very first one, I thought he did get a little hands on him, but he didn't impede the progress of the receivers going to the ball. Like some of the rules that used to be, which are still there, they don't even care about it anymore. Like even pass interference, if the ball is thrown 20 yards out of bounds, they still call pass interference. Well, it used to be uncatchable ball. There is no pass interference. I mean, so some of those rules that they used to have that still are in play, they just don't even call them anymore. They just call pass interference because they want to see points scored. I mean, that's the bottom line in the National Football League. They want to see the numbers go up. They want to see the numbers go up because that's what fans like. It's a fantasy world. They want to see the fantasy points. I mean, that's just the way it is. I mean, for Richard to say he was going to be at his best when he hasn't played in such a long time, he only practiced for 3 days, is really kind of unfair. And if I was the head coach on the opposing team, I'd have been like, well, we're going to take multiple shots at this cat just to see where he's at. And they did.
No doubt. Hey, it's time to pull the plug on Big Ben. I mean, Rod, you cannot defend.
We know that
he looks
your guy,
awful. I know it's your guy, your organization, but I talked about it last year that they should have cut bait. I'd rather have Big Uncle Ben than Big Ben. And can they continue this another week or 2 or 3 or the rest of the season?
Well, first of all, they're still struggling running the football.
Yep.
So it's, Ben is like the offense. And, we're all looking for this young Ben who would throw 2 or 3 defenders on the ground, and then he would just make it a miracle throw down the field and for a big catch. And it's not going to happen. I mean, when you get older, you just don't have that same about yourself. And, and I said it in the offseason, I think Ben has nothing to prove to anybody. It's a Steelers organization. I think he's played extremely well. I think he has something to prove to himself, especially the way the season ended last year for them. But, it's just tough. It's tough to watch that, if they didn't have that block punt against Buffalo, I mean, they're 0-4.
Well, and you look at their schedule. They got the Browns. They've got.
It doesn't get easier.
They could
the Browns are still the Browns.
Seattle.
The Browns are still the Brownies.
Wow.
You sound like a Steeler on that. But they got Seattle, and then they got Denver. They got 3: Denver, Seattle, Cleveland. So it could either be 2-5 or 1-6 in short order. Let me ask you this, because Rob and I were saying they got nowhere to go. So I don't care how bad Ben's looking.
Home dinner,
there's nowhere to go.
Show, that's
Is
about
this
it.
an indictment on Dwayne Haskins? And have you heard anything? I know you still talk to people. Have you heard anything about him? Like, is he that bad that you're not even hearing his name mentioned as a possible replacement?
Yeah, I mean, right now, I haven't heard a bunch. I haven't really asked about him, to be honest, with the people in Pittsburgh. So I can't really answer that question. I can just say they just, they seemed like, whatever what was that, week 12 for them last year? That funk is still there. That whatever stigma, whatever happened to them after that first 11 weeks is still there with them on offense. And defensively, what concerns me about the defense is that, man, if T.J. Watt doesn't get the pressure, nobody gets the pressure, and then the cornerbacks aren't that good enough for nobody to get pressure. And so it seems like somewhere along the line something's going to have to give. But let's say this. Let's say, Ben, this is last year. It doesn't work out well. Aaron Rodgers is going to be a Steeler, baby.
Wow.
Hey, man, if I'm Aaron, they high on my list. I'll tell you that much. Right?
And they're going to I would think they're going to give him, they will give him a bunch of money. They'll he can run his offense the way he wants to run his offense. He might want to bring in one of his receivers from Green Bay who might be a free agent. Who knows?
Right.
And
Devontae Adams, yes.
Yeah, I'm not saying names. But he wears 17. You know what I'm saying? But this year, unless some type of miracle occurs on the offensive side, it's going to be tough. I mean, it's going to be tough to turn around.
How hard is it? And now you're still trying to win, obviously. But when like we're in week 4, entering week 5, and kind of knowing, it's going to be tough for you to play significant games, and you got 13 left. That's got to be tough, man, in a sport like this where it's painful every day.
Yeah, well, Mike Tomlin, he always puts a pretty good product on the field. For him, his quarterback is struggling. So he's going to try to rally the troops around the quarterback. So what happens, in a team sport when your major player is not playing his best? Everybody around him has to play better. And that's what I'm going to say about the Steelers. Everybody around them has to play better. Offensive line, tight ends, receivers can't drop balls, DBs can't get beat. Kevin Butler, defensive coordinator, got to be more creative with his play calling on the defensive side. Canada has to be more creative with the play calling on the offense. Special teams need more block punts and kickoff returns and punt returns. Everybody has to do it together. And I think, if anybody can get it done, it would be Mike Tomlin because, he rallies the troops like no other coach in the National Football League.
All right, that's our man, the Hall of Famer, Rod Woodson.
He ain't going to be rallying no troops.
Right. Juju looked frustrated. Juju looked like he was thinking, man, I should have went to Baltimore.
Rod, you know him, right?
Hey. All right, Rod, great stuff, brother. We appreciate you.
I appreciate you guys.
My Shiro always goes the extra mile, stretches every dollar, puts others first. But now it's your time, Mom. Get free tips to help boost your retirement savings now at aceyourretirement.org.
Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
News outlets will cover stories differently, but the Black Information Network is fundamentally different. A 24/7 all-news network of writers, anchors, and producers with the goal of keeping you informed about what's happening in the Black community. BINnews.com, bringing you news you can trust. Download the iHeartRadio app now and listen to the Black Information Network anytime, anywhere.
I want to get back to kissing the cheeks of my grandbabies, making Sunday dinner with a house full of family and lots of laughs.
COVID-19 has changed how we live and how we feel. But now, there are vaccines. And they are the very first step that let us get back to what we miss most. It's okay to have questions.
Is it safe?
Should I wait? Now, get the facts. Visit getvaccineanswers.org so you can make an informed decision when vaccines are available to you. Brought to you by the Ad Council.